Welcome to the deep dive. We're going to plunge right into some source material you've shared, focusing on ONPASSIVE and, well, a pretty significant date they're highlighting, June 24th.
Yeah, that date is absolutely central in the material we looked at. It's presented not just as some launch, but really framed with some, let's say, powerful language.
Powerful is right. Things like a destiny checkpoint, even a digital revolution.
Exactly. Big claims.
So our mission here is to really unpack the core claims, the whole narrative presented in this specific material. It's about getting a handle on what this source says is happening.
Right, this idea of a major comeback, a fundamental relaunch of the ONPASSIVE ecosystem, the OES, as they call it.
And exploring why June 24th is being flagged as the moment, the point where everything supposedly shifts.
Okay, so let's dig in. The main story here is definitely this bold return, a huge comeback effort.
The material claims the entire ONPASSIVE ecosystem, the OES, has been, well, seriously transformed.
Yeah, the words used are rebuilt, restructured, and re-energized. Pretty comprehensive terms.
And they're not shy about the scale of it, are they? There's that specific claim, quite striking actually, right near the start.
You mean they're 10x stronger a bit?
Exactly. That the AI infrastructure and the user incentives are supposedly 10 times stronger now.
That's a very specific metric they're using, yeah.
Yeah.
It's meant to convey just how big these alleged improvements are.
And why June 24th? Why is that the date marked as the big turning point in this material?
Well, the source describes this date as the start of a new phase. They call it mass momentum.
Mass momentum.
The idea is that the experience, because of all these supposed upgrades, becomes, well, their word is irresistible.
Irresistible. That's quite a claim.
And not just for the people already involved, like the founders and affiliates. The source really emphasizes that it becomes irresistible to outsiders, too, people who aren't currently part of it.
Okay, irresistible. How does the source suggest they actually achieve that? It seems to go into some detail about the core engines being enhanced.
It does. It mentions specific tools, the foundational stuff like OConnect, OTracker, ONet, OMail, Odesk.
And the claim is?
That they've been reworked into faster, more stable, and business-ready systems. So a focus on performance and reliability for actual use.
Right, so the underlying tech is supposedly much better, and then there's the user experience side of it.
Oh yeah, big focus there. The material says the UI, the user interface, how it looks and feels, is now stunning.
Stunning, okay.
And the AI baked into it is described as smarter, and the whole journey for the user should feel effortless.
That focus on effortless and stunning,
Yeah.
it links right back to that irresistible idea, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The source spells it out. The belief is people will initially come for the product, but stay for the experience.
And that experience is what they hope makes it, viral.
That's the implication, yeah. That the positive experience itself will drive growth.
Is there anything else they use to convey that feeling?
There's this one line, quite evocative. It suggests that logging into OES should feel like you're logging into tomorrow's internet.
Tomorrow's internet. Wow, that's ambitious, setting a high bar.
It is. It's meant to give the user this sense of destiny, as the source puts it, about the platform.
And the source also talks about strength in unifying tools, right?
Right.
Bringing things together.
Yes, the example they really highlight is the new Owallet.
Okay, what's the deal with Owallet according to this?
It's described with a pretty potent analogy, like PayPal meets AI and crypto integration.
So combining payments, intelligence, and digital currency aspects.
That's the picture painted. The source claims it handles commissions, conversions, and compliance all in one. The idea is simplifying things for the user.
All in one place. That unification is presented as a key benefit.
Definitely. And it extends to other tools, too, like ODomain and OShop.
Ah, yes, those were mentioned for business creation.
Right. The claim is they allow for direct business creation with AI-guided branding.
AI-guided branding, interesting.
And they emphasize ease of use, saying that even beginners can launch something that looks professional in minutes.
Okay, so tools for creation, easy to use. What else does the source cover? It seemed to shift focus outwards at some point.
It does. There's a whole section on what it calls global attraction and massive visibility.
Yeah.
This is about the ecosystem's intended impact beyond just its own users.
Right, moving from internal features to external reach. What kind of things are mentioned there?
This is where they talk about claimed major partnerships. For instance, suggesting that OConnect for streaming is aiming to become the new webinar standard.
A new standard, so aiming for widespread adoption.
That's the implication. And the claims about who's interested get pretty broad.
How broad?
The source explicitly states things like marketing agencies want in, Schools want Academy, and maybe the most attention-grabbing one.
Yeah.
Governments are watching us.
Governments. Wow. Okay.
It all builds towards this narrative that OnPassive is supposedly spearheading a global tech renaissance 2.0.
A renaissance. That's quite the framing. What about trust? In today's world, data and privacy are huge. Does the source address that?
Yes, it does. It claims significant upgrades in data integrity and privacy.
How so?
It specifically states the ecosystem is built with compliance in mind for major global standards, mentioning Europe, Africa, Asia, and the U.S. standards by name.
So the angle is not just being attractive technology-wise, but also being trusted.
Exactly. That's the word they use. Positioning trust as a core pillar alongside the features.
Interesting. Now, the source also talked about the founders, didn't it? Their specific role in all this.
It did, yeah. They're given a really prominent role in this relaunch narrative, described as the first beneficiaries.
First beneficiaries in what way?
In several key areas, according to the source. Getting the initial commission drops, being part of the testing phases, and getting access to early OES premium upgrades.
So early access and financial benefits.
Right. And the source frames this preferential treatment as the mechanism that turns founders into natural brand ambassadors. They experience the benefits first, so they promote it.
Okay, that makes sense within their model. That positions them as key to the expansion plans laid out here.
Precisely. And that leads into the next big section in the material, which is about the new revenue model and passive opportunities.
Ah, the money side of things. What's the core message there?
It's very direct. The source states OnPassive isn't meant to be just, say, a tool or a job. It's explicitly called a wealth vehicle.
A wealth vehicle. Strong words again. How does it supposedly function as one?
It lists several claimed revenue streams, things like subscription models, advertising pools, affiliate earnings, and O-Shop royalties. A mix of sources.
Okay, multiple streams. And is there an underlying concept?
Yes. The source emphasizes this idea of earning while the system works, passively.
How does that supposedly work?
It introduces concepts like smart payout cycles. And this line really stood out. Every product interaction becomes a data event that rewards you.
Every interaction. That sounds pervasive.
That's the picture painted.
Right.
The source summarizes it as automation meets monetization. The system's activity itself generates rewards for users.
Automation meets monetization. Got it. And they loop back to ease of use.
They do. Reinforcing that it's supposedly easy for newcomers, but also scalable for veterans, handling growth from one user up to potentially 1 million.
Okay, so pulling all these claims together, how does the source wrap things up? What's the final takeaway message about June 24th?
The concluding remarks really ramp up the intensity. June 24th isn't just a launch. It's framed as a declaration.
A declaration.
Yes, and that OnPassive is coming back with power, with intelligence, and with fire. Very dramatic language.
Power, intelligence, and fire. Okay. And the final call to action.
It's equally intense. The source tells people to expect the unexpected, expect fireworks, and this is the big one, expect a new internet reality built by the people for the people.
A new internet reality.
And then the final sign-off is basically, we're no longer beta. We're global. We're on. And that this moment is totally unmissable.
Okay. Let's try and synthesize this for you, the listener. Based purely on the source material we've been dissecting, the picture painted is of a digital ecosystem OnPassive's OES that's being presented as incredibly powerful, intelligent, globally compliant, and designed as a wealth generation tool.
And the source is pinpointing June 24th as the date for a massive relaunch showcasing all this. It highlights claimed upgrades across the board, core tech, user experience, partnerships, revenue models.
Right. The narrative is one of complete transformation, huge global ambition, with a special role carved out for its early members, the founders. So this deep dive into the source gives you a clear look at the stated goals, the features they emphasize, and what this document suggests this whole event could mean for those involved or just watching the digital space.
Exactly. It's all based on the claims within that source material.
So, as we wrap up our look at the source's claims about this June 24th comeback for OnPassive, the main message from that material is pretty unmistakable. It's being portrayed as a huge, can't-miss tech event, packed with major claimed upgrades, global plans, and, frankly, revolutionary intentions.
Yeah, absolutely. And that leads us to a final thought for you, the listener, to maybe chew on. It comes directly from that very bold claim in the source. This idea of building a new internet reality built by the people, for the people.
Okay, so what's the thought?
Well, Given the scale of that vision, and considering the specific mechanisms described in the source, things like that integrated Owallet handling money and compliance, the AI helping build businesses in OShop, this whole automation meets monetization idea where interactions supposedly reward you.
Right, those specific claims.
What might the actual practical day-to-day implications of an ecosystem like that be for you or just for the wider digital world? If, and it's a big if based on the source, these claims were to fully come true.
What would it really look like in practice?
Exactly. Which specific parts of this huge vision laid out in the source document resonate the most with you? And, perhaps more importantly, which aspects raise more questions in your mind about feasibility or how it would all genuinely function?
Interesting points to ponder. Thank you for joining us as we took this deep dive into the source material you shared with us.
Yes. Thanks for tuning in.
It's not just about introducing a new economic model, but also about acknowledging and respecting the existing cultural fabric. Understanding the local context, the traditions, the beliefs, the social structures is crucial for any initiative to be successful and sustainable.
Yeah, it's more than just transactions.
Right.
It's about integration.
Exactly.
And towards the end, the video kind of shifts back to future development.
Okay.
Mentioning an upcoming business initiative and inviting interested individuals to join an email list for updates. The CEO's emphasis on paying attention to what's coming, seems to signal that this is an ongoing journey.
Exactly. It creates a sense of anticipation and suggests that the themes we've discussed are not static, but part of an evolving vision.
Yeah.
And as the video draws to a close, the underlying philosophy that has been woven throughout really comes into sharp focus.
Yeah, this recurring emphasis on community mutual support and the shared journey towards success really stands out. It's clear that this isn't just about individual achievements happening in isolation.
It's about collective progress.
And Mr. Ash Mufare's commitment to uplifting others, even with the capacity for independent success, speaks volumes about the core values driving this.
It does.
It reinforces the idea of a mission that extends far beyond personal enrichment.
Right.
It really brings home the central message, the importance of being part of something bigger, something that contributes to a greater good, rather than solely focusing on monetary rewards.
It's about purpose-driven engagement.
And ultimately, the video seems to reflect on the enduring impact and the legacy being built by those who have been involved from the beginning.
Right.
It suggests that the true measure of success lies in the positive change they collectively bring about.
It's about making a lasting difference.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yes.
we've explored these really interconnected themes. The aspiration to elevate humanity through technological innovation, the vital role of community and authentic connection, and that compelling focus on the intrinsic rewards of creation and making a difference,
Right.
often positioned as more significant than purely financial gains.
It's a powerful message.
And for you, our listener, we hope this exploration encourages. All right, so today we're diving into a webinar called Open to Transformation, Unburdened by the Past, and Monica's the host.
Yeah.
And, right off the bat, it's like, yeah, okay, I get that. To really move forward, you got to let go of the things holding you back.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's really interesting how she frames it, though. Like, it's not just about identifying what to leave behind, but, like, actively moving towards something better.
Right.
Like embracing the future. And she's really big on the idea of community support in that process, too.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today we're going to, really try to break down her main ideas from this webinar. And we'll see how this whole thing of releasing past burdens and, looking ahead can lead to some serious personal growth.
Sounds good.
So she starts off talking about new beginnings, right? This freedom that comes when you can finally shed the past. But then there's this moment where they all acknowledge someone in the community who passed away. It's kind of a heavy but also hopeful way to start things off, recognizing the past but still looking forward.
Yeah, it's like she sets this tone of we remember, but we're also moving on, which is really cool, I think. It's not about pretending the past didn't happen, but not letting it drag you down either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So then the big question is okay, how do you actually do that? And they talk about this in the webinar, how tough it is.
Yeah.
And how people tend to blame others when things go wrong. It's we can't help but point fingers.
Yeah. It's almost like a reflex, right? Something bad happens and boom, we're looking for someone to blame. But recognizing that that's a thing, that we do that. That's going to be the first step to breaking free from it.
Why do you think we're so quick to blame, though? What's up with that?
It's a good question. Maybe it's like we're trying to make sense of things,
Yeah.
like to create a story in our heads where we understand why something happened. But, she's saying that getting stuck on that blame game can actually stop us from moving on. Exactly. Like it keeps you trapped in the past.
Yep.
Right. So then she shifts gears and starts talking about focus and positivity. This idea that you can only really be empowered when you let go of all that baggage from the past. It's like, imagine your attention is a spotlight, right? Every minute you're dwelling on regrets is a minute that spotlight isn't shining on the path ahead.
That's a really cool way to think about it. And she actually says flat out, what we focus on expands. So like if you're always replaying those negative experiences in your mind, you're just making them bigger.
Right. It's like a vicious cycle. But when you start focusing on the good stuff, the positive experiences, that's when you start to change things from the inside out. And that's when positive change, it becomes less of a like me and more of a like, oh yeah, this is happening.
So then she gets kind of personal and starts talking about how grateful she is for all the support she got from her community when she was going through tough times. It's like she's showing how important it is to have people around you who are positive and encouraging, to help you through those rough patches.
Yeah, it's a great example of how it works in real life.
Right.
Like having people believe in you can really give you the strength to let go of the past and move on. It shows that you don't have to go through this alone.
And then she tells her own story about how she went from a job that was totally soul-crushing to finding something that she was passionate about and felt good about.
Yeah.
There's a real-life example of what this kind of transformation can look like.
Totally. And I think hearing stories like that gives people hope,
Yeah.
Like if she can do it, maybe I can too. It's inspiring.
And it wasn't just about her own personal growth either. She talks about how important it is to be kind and positive and help others. Especially someone named Ash Mafara, it sounds like they had a really supportive community.
That's so important, right? Because when you have a community that lifts each other up and focuses on the good stuff, it creates an environment where everyone can grow and change. It's like the community's mindset can actually influence how much individuals can transform.
Yeah, that makes sense. So then they start talking about faith and having goals for the future. There's even a reference to Philippians in the Bible about overcoming anxiety through prayer. How does that fit in with letting go of the past?
I think the key takeaway there is that when you're feeling anxious or worried, which often comes from thinking about past experiences, you can actively choose to focus on something else, right? And for some people, prayer is a way to do that, to shift their attention away from worry and towards hope and peace. It's about taking control of your thoughts.
And she really stresses that it's important to let go of past failures and distractions if you want to have a healthier mindset. It's not about erasing the past, but about not letting it control you.
Exactly. You can learn from your mistakes without letting them define who you are or what you're capable of, But it's easy to get hung up on those past missteps and let them hold you back from living in the present and going after your dreams. So you got to let go of that emotional baggage if you want to move forward.
And she uses Mr. Mafara as an example. He's all about focusing on his goals instead of dwelling on his past mistakes. It's like he's the poster child for resilience. How does that work? Like, what makes that shift in focus so powerful?
When you're focused on what you want to achieve, those past setbacks, they become less important, They're not roadblocks anymore. They're just like lessons learned. It's about putting your energy into creating something new instead of getting stuck in the past.
And she says that he was really driven by this desire to achieve his dreams and take care of his family. It's like he had a bigger purpose than just himself.
Right. It's not just about self-improvement. It's about contributing to something larger than yourself, whether it's your family or your community or whatever. When you have that kind of purpose, it gives you so much more motivation.
So then the conversation moves to patience and abundance. There's this idea that you should focus on real, genuine connections instead of superficial ones, and that you should be honest with yourself and others about your mistakes. Like, own your journey.
That's a really interesting connection, right, between being vulnerable and growing. Admitting your flaws and mistakes actually allows you to connect with people on a deeper level because you're not pretending to be perfect. And that creates space for real learning and growth, which obviously means making mistakes along the way.
And she's really big on patience. Like, she says flat out that meaningful change takes time. And in a world where everyone wants everything right now, that's a really important reminder. Why is patience so crucial when it comes to personal growth?
Because real change doesn't happen overnight.
Right.
It takes work, it takes practice, it takes messing up and starting over. And patience allows you to deal with those setbacks without getting discouraged.
Mm.
You have to trust the process and not try to rush it.
So they talk about Ash's mindset too. Like he believes in unlimited possibilities.
Mm.
And there's this story about how he always shares his meals with others. It's like this whole philosophy of abundance and generosity.
Mm.
How does that tie into personal transformation?
When you have an abundance mindset, you're not afraid of scarcity, you know? You believe that there's enough opportunity and resources to go around, so you're more likely to take risks. Go after your goals and be generous with what you have. It's a positive cycle that can really accelerate your growth.
No, she doesn't sugarcoat things. She acknowledges that life is tough and that it's easy to get caught up in the negative stuff. But she encourages people to make a conscious effort to focus on the positive. It's like intentionally choosing to see the good.
Yeah, it's not about pretending that bad things don't happen, but it's about not letting them take over your thoughts and your energy. You can choose where you focus your attention.
And she's careful to point out that not everyone's the same. What works for one person might not work for another.
Yeah,
So it's important to be open to different perspectives.
absolutely. What resonates with you might not resonate with me, and that's okay. We all have different journeys and different ways of seeing the world.
So they wrap things up by talking about how excited they are for the future and how they're all in this together. It really emphasizes the importance of community as a source of support.
That shared sense of purpose and knowing that you're not alone can make a huge difference when you're going through a transformation. It's like having a cheerleading squad behind you every step of the way.
And she comes back to that main message of letting go of the past to embrace the future. She acknowledges that there have been challenges, but she also highlights the positive influence of strong leadership during those times. It sounds like having guidance is really important.
Yeah, it's like she's saying that letting go of the past isn't about forgetting it. It's about breaking free from its grip so you can grab onto new opportunities. And good leadership can help people move forward and stay grounded when things get tough.
And there's a lot of gratitude for the support of the community and excitement for what's to come. It ends on a really hopeful note. This idea that you have to keep looking ahead and create a supportive environment for growth.
That's such a crucial point.
Mhm.
Right, you don't transform in a vacuum. You need people around you who believe in you and support you. And you need to create a space where growth is encouraged and celebrated.
So to sum it all up today, we learned from Monica's webinar that it's super important to actively let go of past burdens and focus on positive things and possibilities for the future. We also saw how crucial community support is in that process and how important it is to be patient because meaningful change takes time. Oh.
Mm.
And we can't forget about mindsets, how much our thoughts and beliefs affect our ability to grow.
You nailed it. It's all about recognizing that personal transformation happens when you look inward at your own thoughts and beliefs and outward to the support you receive from your community. It's a conscious choice to unburden yourself, not to erase the past, but to create a brighter, more intentional future.
That's a great way to put it. So now here's a thought for you, our listener. Think about what Monica said about letting go. What's one thing from your past that you could let go of this week? Could be a regret, a grudge, a limiting belief, anything. It doesn't have to be huge. Just a conscious decision to release something that's weighing you down.
It's amazing how much lighter you can feel when you identify that one thing and choose to let it go.
And if you're interested in learning more about Monica's work, you can check out her webinar, Open to Transformation, Unburdened by the Past. So we got all this great stuff. So thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.
See ya. Bye.
Interesting.
We're going to see what we can find. So right off the bat, it seems like ONPASSIVE wants to tackle some pretty massive global problems.
Oh, yeah.
Using AI, no less. We're talking financial instability, unequal access to tech, that kind of thing. From what you've seen, how are they actually proposing to do that?
Well, they talk about these specific platforms.
Okay.
Like there's O-Connect. They call it next-gen communication. I wonder if that's, AI doing real-time translation or maybe just helping people share information better, more efficiently.
Makes sense.
And then there's Owallet, focused on financial security. So maybe AI is stepping in to stop fraud or, making transactions super secure. Oh, and then there's O-Staff.
Okay.
This one's all about business automation. So think AI streamlining all those tedious workflows, freeing up people's time and energy.
I see.
Yeah.
So it's not just about solving big problems, right? They also seem to want to change things for regular people, individuals and small businesses. There's this phrase that keeps popping up, done for you AI-driven business model. What does that even mean, practically speaking? Like, for someone who wants to make some passive income, what does that look like?
It seems like they're going for this, like, integrated system. AI takes care of all the tricky parts of running a business online.
Right.
Maybe marketing, sales, even some of the product development.
Wow.
So the idea is it's easier for people to get started and find success, financial success without having to be an expert in everything.
It's like it's all done for you.
Exactly, yeah.
And they're talking about like democratizing technology, this idea that these powerful tools shouldn't just be for the big guys, the huge corporations. How's OnPassive planning to make this stuff, this advanced marketing and automation, accessible to everyone?
I think it comes back to that ecosystem idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's all connected.
Okay.
They're offering a whole bunch of AI-powered tools all in one place.
Yeah.
Makes things simpler, right? No need for individuals and small businesses to go hunting for all these different services, which can be a huge pain and really expensive.
Right. Yeah.
It's like a one-stop shop for all your digital needs.
Yeah. Now, a lot of the material we've been looking at really emphasizes the founder, Ash Mufareh, and his vision for OnPassive. He's talking about uplifting humanity, being fair and transparent, even putting people before profits. How does the actual technology they're building connect with that mission?
Well, think about it. They're harnessing the power of AI, right, to create opportunities for a lot more people.
Mm.
If these platforms genuinely streamline things, if they give people access to markets and resources they couldn't reach before,
Mm.
that levels the playing field.
Yeah.
You could actually make the digital world a lot fairer.
That OnPassive ecosystem as a one-stop digital hub keeps coming up. Can you give us a clearer picture of what that actually looks like based on what we've got here?
Okay, imagine it's like a collection of all these online tools all working together. They've got, let's see, we've got OChat for messaging, but with an AI boost.
Uh-huh.
There's Virtual for security, Cure for teamwork, and Create to build your website. Basically, they want to give you all the digital tools you need.
All in one place.
All in one place, exactly.
And it goes beyond business and individuals.
Yeah.
They also mentioned the OnPassive Foundation. They're
Right.
talking about making a global impact. What kind of initiatives are they focusing on?
Education, healthcare, sustainability.
Okay.
They want to make a difference on a global scale. They don't go into too much detail in these materials, but you can see they're not just thinking about profits.
They're thinking bigger.
Exactly, much bigger.
So to kind of sum it all up, they're calling it the OnPassive revolution, a huge transformation powered by AI. Automation, this all-in-one business model, it's like they're trying to completely change how we interact with technology and the digital economy.
Yeah, that's the core of their message.
Oh.
Quick progress, total solutions. They want to help everyone, from individuals to the whole planet.
And it all comes back to their AI-driven ecosystem. So it's like you've got this ambitious vision, AI tackling huge global problems, empowering individuals with all these digital tools, a founder focused on ethical impact. It's a lot to think about.
Definitely.
If this kind of platform, this OnPassive model really takes off, what larger shifts could we see in how people use technology? How might our behavior online change if AI is integrated into so many parts of our digital lives? It's a pretty big question, something worth considering as we watch all of this unfold.
Absolutely.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into OnPassive. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Welcome to a new deep dive. Today we're unpacking Owallet from OnPassive Technologies. We've gathered insights from, well, quite a few places. Fintech analysts, blockchain experts, OnPassive ambassadors, even the CEO. Our goal here is to really understand what Owallet is. How does it plan to change digital money, commissions, and what does it mean globally? Get ready, because this seems to go, a bit beyond just another app.
Exactly. And what's really interesting, I think, is how it's positioned. Not just a wallet, right?
Yeah.
But as they describe it, a kind of comprehensive AI-powered electronic banking system. We'll look into its design, its global aims, and how it's meant to fit into that whole OnPassive ecosystem.
Okay, so let's start big picture. Our sources call Owallet revolutionary fintech, a global financial engine. But what really makes it different from, say, the digital wallets many of us use already?
Right. Well, the key distinction, according to Mike Ellis anyway, is that it's billed as a fully AI-powered electronic banking system, built specifically